And welcome back to American Agenda. I'm Heather Childers along with Bob Sellers. President Biden making some interesting remarks when addressing the 100th anniversary of the Tulsa massacre, saying not al-Qaeda, not ISIS, but instead white supremacy is the biggest threat to our nation. Listen.
According to the intelligence community, terrorism from white supremacy is the most lethal threat to the homeland today. Not ISIS, not al-Qaeda, white supremacists.
And then he goes on to say that black entrepreneurs don't have lawyers or attorneys.
The data shows young black entrepreneurs are just as capable of succeeding given the chance as white entrepreneurs are. But they don't have lawyers, they don't have accountants, but they have great ideas.
So let's bring back in our panel to talk about this. And by the way, don't need to tell you this, but according to American Lawyers 2021 Diversity Scorecard, there in fact are black attorneys and lawyers, and the numbers keep rising. In 2021, there's been an increase in minority attorneys, partners, and non-partners all across the board. So Derrick, you're laughing. I'll go to you first. Just your response.
Y'all saw my eyes big because I'm trying to understand what he was trying to imply. Mm-hmm. Was he saying that there weren't black lawyers and attorneys, or that black business owners don't have them? So all of it to me it sounds ridiculous. And like, President, dude, come on now. Give us a little more credit than that. It's just black business owners. I have an attorney. I have an accountant. So to sit there and say that, black business owners don't have that, it's insulting. It's almost racist, Mr. President.
Yeah, almost racist, or is, I mean, he's made some questionable remarks before along a similar vein. Go ahead, Derrick.
I'm like, man, come on, really? That's insulting. It's insulting for me to even hear him speak and say something like that.
Jesse Jane, what did you think about it?
So what really disturbs me is that his failure to address how the Democratic policies actually put in place what occurred in the Tulsa massacre 100 years ago. Everyone knows what happened after the Civil War. It was Republicans that made sure that military rule took over the southern states until they accepted the 14th Amendment. The 14th Amendment provides equal protection under the law. But you know what those little Democrat states did? They made sure they imposed a poll tax so that the newly freed slaves could not afford to vote. They imposed literacy tests so that they could not read well enough to vote. They imposed the KKK upon them and terrorized communities. This is historically accurate, and the Democrats have never apologized for their racist past. And when you have a president of the United States going down there now trying to carry this banner of white extremism, what white extremism? Who started the white extremism? Who fought to free the slaves? Because you'll never hear him state the true facts. And this is the very man that said he was against desegregation of the schools because it would be a jungle out there. He didn't want to desegregate schools so that black children could ride on the buses with white children. This is the man that gave the eulogy at the KKK, former wizard of the KKK, Senator Burr. So I'm sorry, I can't buy this. This is appeasement. This is talking down to an audience when he was part of the problem. He was part of the nightmare. He was part of the racism. And now he wants to throw mud and try to look so innocent and so sweet. It's hogwash.
Yeah, and on top of all of that, everything that Jesse Jane just said, you had the media giving him a pass, Ford.
Well, that's exactly right. The media doesn't care that he's misrepresenting history, nor do they care what he truly engages in every single time when he wants to pass a policy that, how shall I say, is not very good. He engages in the bigotry of low expectations, and he does this every single time. He does it when he says, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. Okay, but let's be totally honest what's going on here, okay? If you really want to judge one thing and you really want the FBI hate crime statistics don't bear out that white supremacy is the biggest problem in this country. I'm not dismissing white supremacy in this country, but here's the thought that I'll leave you with. If white supremacy is the biggest problem in America today, there wouldn't be 200,000, mostly minorities, coming to this country illegally every month.
You know, Go ahead, Derrick. Derrick, go ahead.
No, I was like, Ford, Ford.
Thank you, Derrick.
That was it right there. I mean, to your point, Ford, if it was that bad, if white supremacy was running that rapid here in the country, I would be afraid to go outside. And as you said, we wouldn't have this border crisis right now with all these illegal immigrants, people of color, trying to get into this country right now.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask you also, Derrick, when he said yesterday, black entrepreneurs, but they don't have African-American lawyers or accountants. I don't know who your lawyers or accountants are, but did you hire them based on their race?
No, I didn't hire based off race. I hired off of who I knew, who recommended, and who I thought could get the job done, because this is about business.
Exactly.
You know, the hell with all the feelings of color and stuff. It's about business and who's going to protect me.
And that I found a little patronizing, because it was suggesting that if you're a black businessman, an entrepreneur, or a businessman or woman, then you would naturally want to hire a black lawyer or a black accountant. Well, if they're the best, maybe you do, but it's not going to be based on that.
No,
Let's not forget that he said, Joe Biden said on the campaign trail that poor kids are just as smart as white kids. What in the heck did that even mean? I mean,
It's the bigotry of low expectations. That's what they do over and over. You can't get an ID because you're a minority. It's always the bigotry of low expectations. And what those low expectations are, change to whatever nonsense they're pushing that day.
Yeah, I like that phrase, the bigotry of low expectations.
Where did that come from? Isn't that somebody's, Ford knows all? Where's that from?
I'm sure I hodgepodged it together among 3 different sources.
Okay.
Can't take full credit.
Okay, yeah, we'll give you credit, Ford.
Yes.
All right, well, Jesse, Jane, Ford, and Derrick, thank you very much for joining us.